the forecast?
Yeah, I think it was 10 to 15.
When we left off, we had just given our new boat, Yoringa, a good shakedown sail along with some crew and fixed a few problems that came up along the way.
As a workaround until we get back. The new boat is a mess.
Yoringa is a full-on cruising boat. It looks like stuff all over. There's stuff all over. Laundry and wind scoops, paddle boards, dive gear, all sorts of stuff going on. It's in full use.
How's around the corner?
It is
Gee, it's foggy.
super foggy. You can't really see anything at all. It's crazy, like low clouds, fog, whatever it is that rolled in, but it cooled it down, so that's nice.
I think I just heard someone honking in the fog. Well, there is a powerboat out there. There is one little like trawler type thing out here, and then I don't know if you can see this guy through the fog. I think I lost him. I think he's actually right there on the other side of the fella. It is crazy foggy right now, and this guy is trying to come in and anchor. We're in a tight spot here, but you can not see much in here at all. How's the fog?
Thick.
Santa Barbara. See it?
Right there. Only a few miles away. We are making our way back towards Santa Barbara today after a week or so out at Santa Cruz Island. It's extremely foggy. We've had really foggy days, and I think there's also quite a bit of smoke. So the sun, if we see it at all, it's just been like this crazy looking orange ball. And I think we're only like 6 miles from Santa Barbara right now, but so we probably only have about a mile of visibility. Feels good to be back under sail though. Some nice sailing breeze here. And saying hello to all of our dolphin and birdie friends out here.
Yeah, right up here. Here they come, here they come. There we go. Hello. Yeah. Come on right here. They're beautiful guys. Oh, I heard you. There's the tree. Uh-oh. Touch them. Oh, they're coming. They're on the bow.
Navigating between the offshore oil platforms in the fog, we made our way into also foggy Santa Barbara. We anchored off the pier known as Stern's Wharf, which eventually appeared out of the fog. It was here that we bid farewell to our guests, and then it was time to get to work.
It's been strange weather around here. It is a super foggy, hazy, windy day here in Santa Barbara. We're off to run some errands. We are trying to source a few materials, specifically some canvas material to match this because we have some repairs to do on the Dodger. It's proved to be a tough material to track down, but we found a nice guy that might have some remnants for us. So we're gonna go see if we can find that with a rental car and a few other parts while we have the car.
Who would have thought? New boat and already boat work to do. That's pretty much how it is. We had a lot of boat work to do already. We did manage to locate some fasteners yesterday for the wrap stop on the profile. Those need to go back up. We're probably going to look at maybe replacing a halyard here, and today we do have a rental car because we do need to go down a couple of towns down and try and get this fabric that's been a bit difficult to find because, as you can see, our Dodger is off of the boat. And wow, you really notice the difference when you don't have a Dodger. It gets quite cold, quite wet. It's very handy to have, so I can understand why most boats now have Dodgers for any kind of long-term stuff. Except for those French guys, they don't seem to worry about it. But look at this fog out here still.
All right, down we go into our new inflatable dinghy. Bye, Yoringa. this is our Dodger removed, and you can see this is the tear right here. The tear, it's probably about 8 inches long or so. The tricky part about this repair is it's right on the edge. This brown trim is right where the Dodger wraps around the metal frame, and that is under a lot of tension. It's a great Dodger. It's a very tight fit, but it's always under a lot of tension, so we want to make sure the repair is done properly with the fabric laid flat so that we can retension it and not have anything else rip. How I'm going to do that, I need to remove all the stitching on this brown trim so I can get the patch underneath there, and on the back side of it there's a zipper, so I'll need to remove the zipper so I can patch underneath there. I'm going to glue the patch on, then sew the patch on, then re-sew on this brown trim and re-sew on the zipper. That's the plan. Well, unfortunately, despite my best efforts, these patches I did on the Dodger did not work. Because this Dodger is such a tight fit and under so much tension, when we put it back on, it really has to stretch to get back on there. And basically it just started to tear the fabric on the seams where I had sewed, which is probably a sign that the fabric is getting older and UV damage. So I don't think any more patches are going to work on it, unfortunately. So that leaves us with the option of completely replacing the top, which I would do myself. We contacted the company and they were going to charge us $1,100 just for a new top piece, so that is nowhere in our budget. We're also thinking about replacing it possibly with a hard Dodger, but that's probably not something that we would want to do until we got down to Mexico. I think we're going to go the route of me trying to sew it. I'll need to order in some more fabric. That's kind of a bummer, but we gotta do what we gotta do.
This is Santa Barbara Pier. We've been here before.
This is Stearns Wharf.
I wanted to say we've never had an issue tying up against the pier, but that's not true, because when we were first here with Runa a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now, we had the dinghy stolen for a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an open roadstead anchorage. It does get a bit rolly in there. We're stern tied right now as well, or stern anchored, which really helps a bit for the predominant swell direction. This is kind of the main drag up through Santa Barbara here, State Street. And today we're on a little bit of a mission. We're going to the post office.
Going to pick up something called General Delivery. If you hadn't heard of that before, it's a pretty cool thing. We've used it a little bit. We mostly haven't been in the US, so couldn't use it. But basically, you can mail something directly to the post office, which is handy when you don't have an address. Got the letter, the package, and what's in here is quite important. It is our documentation, the Coast Guard documentation for Yoringa, which once you purchase a boat, it takes them a while to process it, but it is something we will definitely need to check into Mexico. Got our fabric here, we're headed in. There's a little dinghy dock inside the marina here in the Santa Barbara harbor. I'm gonna go up on land so I can have a nice big flat surface to trace out my pattern.
Your hooks, there you go. Well, Hillary has a plan. I'm not sure what that is, but she's got her fabric here. We're kind of just underneath the Harbour Patrol office, so hopefully they don't mind. And Hillary's going to do her thing.
This is the umbrella we ordered in here. It's the silica dune color, which is not a very common color, which is why we had to special order it in versus getting it somewhere that had it in stock. But it came in pretty quick, so that's awesome. And now I just need to roll this out so I can put our existing top piece on there and trace the correct pattern to cut. With all of our pieces cut here, now I'm in the reassembly phase, which is kind of the critical part, getting everything perfectly lined up again. Because it's such a tight, precise fit, it's really important that all my pieces line up. There's not any little gaps or ripples. And what I'm doing before I sew everything, I'm putting everything together with basting tape or seam stick tape, whatever you want to call it. But basically it's a tape that you kind of assemble everything with rather than pinning the fabric together, which obviously would be a ton of pins for something this big, and that would also make a lot of holes in the fabric, which you don't really want. So this sticks everything together so I can get everything perfectly lined up before I sew it. Sewing through 7 layers of material here. I have 4 layers of Sunbrella and 3 of Top Gun. It's doing all right. After a full day of sewing, I think I'm finally done. Everything's stitched together. Now we just need to put it on and test it and keep our fingers crossed it works.
Luckily, the careful tracing and assembly paid off, and our replacement Dodger fit like a glove. Or maybe a way too tight glove, which is how it was designed. After lots of stretching and pulling, the Dodger was reassembled and we were ready to hit the seas and get back to sailing and exploring. But more on that next time. Thanks so much for watching, and a huge thanks to our patron Adrift crew who support the making of these videos. If you enjoyed, please remember to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Until next time!